Welcome back to investingnews.com. We're speaking with Thian Chew from Invion. Welcome.
Hey John, how you doing?
Good, thank you. For investors, how does the current company's valuation compare with listed peers?
Well, that's the typical first question from investors is where can the stock price go or the valuation go? And the first thing you look at is comparable companies. And if you look at other companies that are listed that have looking at addressing cancers and in clinical trial stage, you see numbers of 30, 40 million market cap to hundreds of millions market cap. And to us, that's really where the potential can go. Then the question is, how do we get there, and what are the things stopping us from getting there? And one of the first step of that process is to see what we have. And our company basically has a treatment for multiple cancers as well as infectious diseases, and we're already at clinical trial stage. So we did a prostate cancer trial last year, an investigator-led trial, and we're doing a second type of cancer in skin cancer, non-melanoma skin cancer right now. And we're getting ready to do a third cancer where genital cancers, where we're actually working with the Peter MacCallum Cancer Center, or Peter Mac. And that's one where we're going to do combination therapy with existing immunotherapies. And in our preclinical work, we went from 12% to 80% response rate. And so we've got a number of clinical trials going on. We also have recognition outside Australia where we got orphan drug designation by the FDA. And so that gives us a pathway potentially to accelerated approvals in the United States. So we have a pretty interesting asset, and that's something which is really the fundamental core. But there's a second piece that we need to solve, which is structurally. We have a complicated licensing arrangement where we own part of the world and licensor owns other parts of the world. We need to simplify that. And there are also some shareholder financing structures which some of our shareholders would prefer we clean up, and we recognize that. So that's something that's all solvable. And then the third piece that's creating the overhang is actually just letting people know what we do. When I speak to investors, shareholders, generally there's a lot of love. The challenge is making sure people invest the time to understand where we're at. So if we solve all those three, even without doing any more development work, then we believe that we can get around the comparable levels of valuation. And that creates some interesting opportunities for us.
For investors new to Invion, could you take us through achievements of, say, the past 12 months?
Sure. So really, one of the big things in cancer treatment is it's great to cure cancer in mice, but that's not really that important or compelling for investors. So, in the last 12 months, we finished a prostate cancer trial. We found that it was very safe as a drug, and we found a roughly 40 to 44% response rate in prostate cancer patients. And then the other thing that happened in the last 12 months was we started doing a second clinical trial in skin cancer and found very consistent results around safety, no pain, and it's still early days, but we found already a statistically significant reduction in the tumor size. And then on top of that, apart from what we're planning to do with Peter Mac, we signed with a couple of industry partners. So there's a Korean pharmaceutical company called Hanlim Pharma that's actually paying for some of our research in preclinical work on some other cancers, including glioblastoma, which is a brain cancer, as well as esophageal cancer. And there's another Korean company that was signed up with who's funding a clinical trial in HPV virus using one of our other compounds. So we've got a number of irons in the fire, and it's only one or two that we're really funding. So we really like the partnership level, had a lot of really interesting milestones the last 12 months, and we continue to build more over the coming 12 months.
You touched on some upcoming milestones you were looking to address. Could you take us through that a little bit further?
Yeah, sure, of course. Yes. So one of the milestones is just continuing what we're doing on the skin cancer trial. And the second one is we're going through the processes on the anogenital cancer trial with Peter Mac. And as everyone knows, as when you do clinical trials in Australia, you need to go through certain approvals with different committees, etc. And that is ongoing. And when those approvals occur, that's another sort of catalyst that can be potentially interesting. We also continue to have partnering discussions. We're a small biotech company. We're not a big pharma. We don't have all the money in the world. So we want to partner with other folks that have the expertise as well as the financing and resources so that we can work together to make a bigger pie. So there's some of the things that we're really excited about tracking. And on top of that, as I mentioned, there are some structural overhangs and things we need to address. And they're things that we're in process of addressing. And so those are things that I think the market should look out for as well.
Touching on your company trials, how are they actually progressing so far?
They're going well. I mean, right now we're having an ongoing trial in non-melanoma skin cancer, and it's designed as an adaptive trial. So the main objectives of the trial is to make sure that the drug and device combination is safe for patients, and even in the first 6 patients, we found that to be very good. I mean, there was not even pain noted by patients, which is quite a big thing in this space. And then the adaptive side is where we start doing groups of 3 patients and we start tweaking the regime of treatment so we can optimize the dose. And that leads into giving us a higher response rate, higher basically efficacy. And as we get closer to doing the bigger pivotal trials that actually ultimately get approval, we have a more effective regime to maximize the odds of success. And so that process is continuing to go on. And so that will continue to improve all ships in the sea as the tide rises, because we're in a fortunate position that our one treatment can treat multiple cancers.
In regards to addressing unmet needs of Asian-centric cancers, where will Invion fit in?
Yes, it's interesting because most of the world's new drugs are developed in the United States, and 6% of patients used in developing these new drugs are Asians because that's what America looks like. The other element is that the average cost of a new drug in the United States is about 300,000 US. It's close to half a million Aussie dollars. So, A, it's not designed for people that are, centric to what in our part of the world, and B, it's pretty unaffordable to a lot of people, at least in the world. So I'm involved, I'm actually on the board of Stanford Medicine's Center for Asian Health Research and Education. And what we're trying to do is essentially bridge and narrow those gaps in terms of where are those large unmet needs. And what Invion's trying to do, since we have a therapeutic treatment, is actually to see how we can play a part in bridging that gap. And it's really important for us because we have a treatment that potentially is more scalable since one drug can treat many types of cancers. And the second thing is it's even more important because we're in Asia Pacific. This is our neck of the woods. And in fact, 60% of the world lives in our neck of the woods. And yet only 6% of patients for new drugs are really designed to look after what's in our backyard. So that really gives an important priority for us to look in our backyard as opposed to trying to look beyond the Pacific Ocean.
Thank you very much for taking us through Invion. You've got a lot of news coming up. We look forward to speaking with you again.
Okay, thank you very much, John.